Hello everyone, Hanbrolo here, and today we're going to find out if you can beat Pokemon Leaf Green with only pink Pokemon. We have a total of 7 different encounters we have here in Leaf Green, which is good. However, we are limited to mainly Psychic and Normal type Pokemon. On top of that, Mr. Mime is the only Pokemon with a decent special attack. For this video, we're going to keep the rules simple. Rule number 1, we can only use pink Pokemon. We can use other Pokemon for HMs, however they can't be used in battle. We start off by naming ourselves Han, and our rival, Rival. We start by using the universal Pokemon randomizer to choose Lickitung as our starter. We name them Licks and start off on our challenge. We go to start grinding levels until I come across an issue. All the wild encounters before Viridian Forest are normal type, who aren't affected by a Lick's ghost move. This means we'll have to grind in Viridian Forest instead. We grind to level 16 and battle Brock. We confuse Brock's Geodude and start spamming Lick attacks. We also paralyze him and eventually take him out. Out comes Onix, and we can't deal any damage to him. Onix eventually takes us out. We'll have to come back at level 18. We try Brock again at level 18. Knockoff takes Geodude down to half health as he goes for a defense curl. 2 more knockoffs and we take him out. Onix comes out and opens up with Bind. We eventually take it out with a knockoff, giving us the first gym badge. Just before Mount Moon, we catch ourselves a Jigglypuff, who we name Puffball. After grinding Puffball up to level 16, we head into Mount Moon. In Mount Moon, we catch ourselves a Clefairy, so now we have a team of 3. We make our way through Mount Moon, but not before picking up the Helix fossil. Next up is Misty. She starts off with Staryu, who takes half our health with Water Pulse, but we use Rollout, eventually taking it out. Next up is Starmie, who takes us out with a Water Pulse, and we send out Clefairy. We spam Double Slap, but we end up going down to another Water Pulse. We send out Licks, who manages to take it out with a few knockoffs. That's the second badge completed. Next up is the rival fight. He starts off with Pidgeotto and we send out Puffball. Pidgeotto starts going for Sand Attack while we try to build up damage with Rollout. We pound him twice and take out Pidgeotto. Next up is Rattata, and after missing 2 attacks we switch out to Clefairy to take it out with 2 pounds. Rival sends out Charmeleon, who ends up taking out Clefairy with a few Embers. We send out Licks, who takes it out with a Water Pulse. Last up is Abra, who also goes down with Water Pulse. We're going to skip the next rival fight on the SSN as it goes the same way as before, but we had to do a few things before versing Lieutenant Surge. First we catch a Diglett so we can teach it Cut. Next we had to trade out Abra for a Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is going to be a huge asset to our team. Now it's time to take on Lieutenant Surge. He starts off with Voltorb and we send out Clefairy. Voltorb hits us with Screech, but we manage to take it out with Dig. Next up is Pikachu, who uses Double Team, but we manage to one-shot it with another Dig. Last up is his Raichu. We go for Dig, but Raichu hits us with Thunder Wave. He then goes for Shockwave, but we manage to take out half its health with Dig. He starts going for Double Team again, and we get paralyzed. The Shockwave from Raichu hits us and we get paralyzed again. A quick attack from Raichu takes out Clefairy, and we send in Licks. Raichu uses Shockwave, but we manage to hit him with Stomp. Lieutenant Surge uses a Super Potion on Raichu and we miss our next attack. Licks eventually goes down, so we send out Puffball. Puffball manages to get a pound off on Raichu, even through all the double teams, and takes out Raichu. That's the 3rd gym badge. We make our way to Celadon City to take on Erica. At this point, we've leveled up Mr. Mime, so I'm pretty sure this gym will be easy. Erica starts off with Victory Bell and I send out Mr. Mime. We set up Substitution while Victory Bell goes for Stun Spore. We then use Meditate without realizing it doesn't actually do much. Victory Bell keeps trying to use Stun Spore on us, but it has no effect. Eventually we take it down with a critical Confusion. Next up is Tangela, and it also goes down to a Confusion. Erica sends out Vileplume and a Confusion takes it to half health. She goes for a Stun Spore, but it's useless. Another Confusion takes out Vileplume, earning us the 4th gym badge. Next up we take on Giovanni. He starts off with Onix, who goes down to a Psybeam and Confusion. Next up is Kangaskhan. We go for a Psybeam, but get flinched by Kangaskhan's Fake Out. We go for a Psybeam, but it does little damage. Kangaskhan follows up with a Bite and drops us down to half. 2 more Psybeams takes it out. Giovanni sends out Rhyhorn and we switch to Licks. A Water Pulse one-shots the Rhyhorn. That's Giovanni completed, now onto the Pokemon Tower. While we're in the Pokemon Tower, we have another rival fight. Rival sends out Pidgeotto and we send out Puffball. We get hit by a Quick Attack, but we get off a Shockwave. 2 more Shockwaves take out Pidgeotto. Next up is Gyarados. He goes for a Thrash, which almost takes out Puffball, but a few more Shockwaves take it out. Next up is Execute, and we go for Rest. Execute sets up Leech Seed, and we take too much damage, so I switch out to Licks, who takes it out with a Water Pulse and Stomp. Kadabra comes out and disables our Stomp. We do eventually use Stomp and take it out. Finally is Charmeleon. He hits us with an Ember and we follow it with a Water Pulse. 2 more Water Pulses take it out. We go to the Safari Zone and catch ourselves an Execute. We name her Benny, and a Chansey that we name Lucky. Time to go fight Koga. Koga starts off with a Coughing, but we take it down with a Psybeam. Next up is Mark, and we take it out with 2 more Psybeams. Koga now sends out his 2nd Coughing, who we also take out with another Psychic. Last up is Weezing, who gets one shot by Psychic. That was easy. It's time to head back to Saffron City and defeat Giovanni again, but first we have to battle Rival. Rival sends out Pidgeotto and we send out Licks. Pidgeotto hits us with a Quick Attack, but we hit it back with a Surf. Pidgeotto goes for a Wing Attack, but we eventually take it out with Stomp. Next up is Gyarados and we switch to Puffball. Gyarados hits us with Bite, doing decent damage. Puffball ends up taking out Gyarados with a few more shockwaves. Next up is Charizard, so we switch back to Licks. We go for Surf, hoping to outspeed Charizard, but he goes first and takes us out with a Flamethrower. We send out Mr. Mime and use Psybeam. He does almost half its health, but then we get hit by Scary Face, dropping our speed. He hits us with Flamethrower and we go for another Psybeam. For some reason, I forgot about Psychic, so this fight gets really sloppy. Charizard hits us with another Flamethrower and we take him down with one more Psybeam. Rival sends out Execute and we switch out to Clefairy. We go for Metronome, but end up using Astonish. Execute goes for a Stun Spore and paralyzes us. We try to stall out and get lucky with Metronomes, but we eventually have to switch out to Benny. Benny eventually goes down and we finish him off with Mr. Mime. Last up is Alakazam. We hit him with a Psybeam and Alakazam goes for a Future Sight. After a few more Psybeams though, we take out Alakazam. Next up is our battle with Giovanni. He sends out Nidorino, but Mr. Mime takes him out with a single Psychic. Next up is Nidoqueen and we switch out to Licks. We go for Surf, but it does almost no damage. Nidoqueen poisons us and hits us with a Body Slam. Licks ends up dying to Double Kick, so we send out Puffball, who goes for a Body Slam. Eventually, Nidoqueen uses Double Kick and also takes out Puffball. We send out Benny, who takes Nidoqueen out with Confusion. Giovanni sends out Kangaskhan and hits us with Rage. We go for Confusion, but it does next to no damage. Kangaskhan uses Rage again, but we manage to put it to sleep and start using Leech Seeds. Eventually, we take Kangaskhan down. Last up is Rohorn, who we put to sleep and set up a Leech Seed on. We take him out with a few more Confusions. Next up we have Sabrina. Before the battle though, we do a bit more grinding and evolve Jigglypuff into Wigglytuff and Clefairy into Clefable. Now it's time for Sabrina. She leads with Kadabra and we start off with Mr. Mime. A Psybeam takes it down to half health while Kadabra goes for a Calm Mind. We go for another Psybeam which puts it in the red and Kadabra sets up Future Sight. Sabrina then uses a Hyper Potion on the Kadabra, healing it back to full. One Psybeam and two Psychics finally take Kadabra down. Next up is Venomoth, but we one-shot it with Psychic. Sabrina then sends out her own Mr. Mime and we go for Psychic, taking just under half health. Eventually Sabrina uses another Hyper Potion to heal up her Mr. Mime, but eventually goes down. Sabrina then sends out her Alakazam. We go for Psychic, while Alakazam starts spamming Calm Minds and Recover. We can't deal any decent damage as Alakazam keeps spamming Recover and our abilities are doing less damage with Calm Mind setup. So we switch to Licks, who takes him out with a Slam. That's the next gym badge down. Next we head to Cinnabar Island to fight Blaine. Blaine sends out a Growlithe and we go for Mr. Mime. We go for Substitute, but a Fire Blast takes it out in one go. We manage to set up 3 Calm Minds while Growlithe hits us with Takedown and a Psychic ends up taking him out. The rest of the battle was a breeze as Mr. Mime one-shots Blaine's entire team with Psychic. Nice! Now it's time to take on Giovanni for the 8th gym badge. We start off with Substitute so we can start building up Calm Minds. 2 Calm Minds and a Psychic take out Rhyhorn. Next up is Dugtrio, who hits us with an Earthquake but goes down to 1 Psychic. Giovanni then sends out Nidoqueen, but also goes down to a Calm Mind boosted Psychic. Nidoking is next, who takes us down to 4 HP, but goes down to a single Psychic. Last up is Rhyhorn, but also goes down to Psychic. That's the 8th gym badge completed. Time to take on the Elite Four. First up is Ice Trainer Lorelei. Dewgong goes down to 2 Thunderbolts. Close is next up, but after a Protect, she also goes down to a Thunderbolt. Slowbro is up next and starts setting up Amnesia, but also goes down to 2 Thunderbolts. In comes Lapras, who gets a critical hit Ice Beam, but goes down to Thunderbolt. And last up is Jinx. We switch out to Lucky, who takes an Ice Beam and falls asleep, but wakes up and almost kills Jinx with Fire Blast, but Jinx gets burnt and faints. Next up is Fighter Trainer Bruno. Onyx goes down to a single Psybeam from Mr. Mime. Next up is Hitmonchan, who gets taken down with Psychic. Up next is Hitmonlee, who also gets one shot by Psychic. Onyx is out next and survives a Psybeam with what looks like to be 1 HP and hits us with an Earthquake. Bruno uses a full restore and we take it out with Psybeam. Last up is Machamp, who goes down to a single Psychic. That's 2 down, only 2 members left. Third up is Ghost Trainer Agatha. Her first Gengar gets taken out with a single Psybeam from Mr. Mime. Golbat is up next, but she also gets one shot from Psybeam. Arbok is out now and we take her out with Psychic. Next up is Agatha's second Gengar, but 1 Psychic takes it out. Last up is Haunter, who goes down to 1 Psybeam. I know Mr. Mime is strong at this level, but I didn't expect to go hitless from Agatha. Last of the Elite Four is Lance, the Dragon Trainer. First up is Gyarados, who we take out with a single Thunderbolt after misclicking and using Moonlight. Next up is Aerodactyl. We hit it with Surf, but Lance uses a Hyper Potion and almost takes us out with Hyper Beam. Another Surf manages to take it down. Next up is Dragonite. We switch out to Clefable and take it out with a single Ice Beam. I wasn't expecting Clefable to do so much damage there. Next are Lance's Dragonairs, but they also go down to Ice Beams. Last up is the Pokemon Champion. Pidgeotto hits us with Aerial Ace and a Sand Attack, but goes down to 2 Thunderbolts. Next up is Alakazam, so we switch to Lucky and take it down with a few Blizzards. Executor comes out next and Lucky almost takes him out with the Fire Blast, but the champion uses a full restore, then puts Lucky to sleep. We use Fire Blast again to bring it back to red health and then switch out to Mr. Mime to finish it off. Finally, a Side Beam takes out Executor. Next up is Gyarados, so we switch to Clefable, who manages to take it out with 2 Thunderbolts. Last up is Charizard, who deals massive damage with Fire Blast, forcing us to switch to Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime gets a Psychic off, but goes down to a Slash attack. We send out Puffball, who tanks a Fire Blast and puts Charizard to sleep. We almost kill Charizard with Hyper Voice, but the champion used another full restore. We get another Hyper Voice off before Charizard takes out Puffball. We send out Lucky, who instantly gets one-shot by Aerial Ace. I'm starting to get worried now. Clefable comes back out, and we just survive and get an Ice Beam and Attraction off. We take Charizard back into red health, and the champion uses another full restore. We get another Ice Beam off and manage to freeze the Charizard. Charizard defrosts, but it gets immobilized by Love, and we manage to finally take it out with another Meteor Smash.
The champion's last Pokemon is Rhydon. He takes out Clefairy with Rock Tomb, but we switch out to Benny, who takes him down with Giga Drain.
And with that we become the new champion. I didn't think this challenge would be too difficult, but I like the idea of having the final team being a full team of pink Pokemon. Let me know what challenge you would like me to do next. I'm currently working on a solo Pokemon run next, so make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon challenges in the future.